It's a fabulous show.
Alaska.
I heartbeat Alaska.
It's heartbeat. Alaska.
Pull up a chair and enjoy the show.
Hear it from Sitka to Barrow. Gather around for Jeannie's show. It's the Aleut, the Indian and the Eskimo. It's the Aleut, the Indian and the Eskimo.
Welcome one, welcome all.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Heartbeat Alaska Native News and Information. Well, the holidays are with us. 4th of July weekend. How fun. And this is what this program's all about. We travel north to Golovin, Alaska, and then to a village on Kodiak Island, Old Harbor, and share their 4th of July celebrations with you. I'll be in Seward for this year's 4th of July celebration. In fact, Heartbeat Alaska will have our own float, and we invite you to join us. Call me at 563-7440, and I'll let you know how you can be part of our float in the Seward 4th of July parade. Let's travel now to Golovin right after this.
Heartbeat Alaska is made possible by Kupik Carlisle Transportation, your full-service transportation and logistics company.
Heartbeat Alaska is also brought to you by Frontier Flying Service. Thank you, Frontier, for getting Heartbeat Alaska airborne.
A special thank you to Scan Home and Scan Office Furnishings. And thank you, Alaska Commercial Company, for your support.
We travel north to Golovin, Alaska, a village of just a few hundred people, but boy, can they celebrate in rain or shine.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watch, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
It's raining in Golovin, Alaska, July 4th, 2003. The streets are empty, but only because everyone is busy getting ready for the day's events. It's going to take a lot more than rain to keep these Inupiaq people from celebrating Independence Day. For the people of Golovin, it's more than a national holiday. It's a time to come together and give thanks for all they have. These people are wealthy in native knowledge and understanding of the land and waters that surround them. Regardless of the weather, the people of Golovin are going to celebrate the 4th of July. It's a gathering that they've been waiting for all year. From the surrounding villages of White Mountain and Elam, people from all over have made the trek to Golovin for their 4th of July celebration.
On your mark, get set, go!
Although the adults of Golovin claim that the 4th is a time for the kids to enjoy themselves, it was pretty obvious that they too were having a great time.
On your mark, get set, go! Run!
There were races for all ages. These two girls were busy trying to figure out what was going on, too busy to be racing. As for these youth, racing is all they do. And since each race was grouped according to age, this athlete only had to beat himself. And what would the 4th of July be without an elders race?
Yay, Nuz! Yay, Irene! On your mark, get set, go!
After the foot races were finished, it was time to grab the bikes,
Oh, thank you.
Go.
followed by games that were, to say the least, original.
Sit down and say Papa. Sit down and say Papa. Real hard. Yay! Go. Run it. Sit down and break it.
Take one step back. 3-1.
The egg toss was a popular event, but by far the most popular event was the raffle. But first, food, and lots of it. All the hard work that went into preparing tonight's meal paid off. Keeping with tradition, the elders were served first, out of respect. Eventually, everyone made it through the line and got ready for the raffle. The first things up, the bikes.
2047. 2047. 2047. I got it. Christian.
Many lucky kids rode brand new bicycles home that night. For most of these people, it was a chance to see friends and family again. It was a chance to meet new people, but most importantly, it was a chance to be together and celebrate the independence of our country. For many people, July 5th is a day of relaxation and leftover fireworks. For the people in Golovin, it was yet another day to celebrate. Today is a very special day for the people of Golovin, one in particular, Nuz Doyle.
My mother, raised us here, summertime fishing, drying fish. And she passed away quite a while ago. And this was, I think, 3 or 4 years ago, we started this family reunion. My niece Rita Buck from White Mountain got talking to us, so we got people from all over. People came up from Oregon, from my oldest daughter that lives in Indiana. She came up, but her husband didn't come up this time. So we had over 100 people here, that, you know, family, and a lot of them were good friends that came and celebrated the family reunion with us. So we decided to have another one this year.
It was a day to honor a woman who gave so much to her people. And what better place to do it than at the very fish camp this woman had grown up in, Kachavik. And for those kids who didn't get rid of all their energy yesterday, there were races to run. This young man competed in just about every race there was. Some spent their time swimming in the shallow waters of Golovin Bay, while others preferred a rod and reel to swim trunks. It didn't matter what your preference was. There were tons of fun and native foods to be enjoyed at this reunion.
Eat while you cut.
It's like one large family here, you know. It's small enough and unique that you come into Golovin and, you know, you're treated like family, and, you know, everybody greets you, and that's what it is. It's got that small community atmosphere, making it a family, and that's what makes Golovin unique in that manner, is that it's small, and that you know, it's just one big family.
As for this family, with the turnout of people who came from as far away as they did, well, this family couldn't be happier, especially Nuz.
I thought it was so nice for them to come here to honor my mother. I know she's up there looking down, and I could just see her smiling.
These locals are doing a little knee boarding, or boogie board as some call it. It requires strong arms, good balance, and a tolerance for the cold water.
It's all right there.
It also requires a good costume,
Super bag!
so that your friends and relatives won't recognize you when you're wiping out on Heartbeat, Alaska. If at first you don't succeed, well, it looks like this bug can't fly with the knee board. Maybe something a little more her speed. There we go. Perfect. Now this bug is flying. Whoops, spoke too soon. Whether it was kneeboarding, swimming, or climbing on styrofoam, the people of Golovin know how to enjoy life. It's Sunday, July 6th, and life in Golovin is returning to normal. The fishermen are heading out to check their crab pots, and others are returning to their busy lives. Lives that take them out into the tundra, and lives that take them out into the sea. Lives that make them who they are. Inupiat. And now off to Old Harbor, a beautiful village on Kodiak Island. Let's watch their races, boat races, commercial fishing boat races.
On the southeast coast of Kodiak Island, tucked into the hills behind Spruce Island. The people who live here are as rich in spirit as their land is in history. In 1784, the area was visited by Russian Grigory Shelikov and his Three Saints flagship. Three Saints Bay became the first Russian colony in Alaska. 4 years later, a tsunami destroyed the settlement, and within the next 4 years, 2 more earthquakes would take their toll on this unfortunate town. In 1793, the town moved to the northeast coast of Kodiak Island, and almost 100 years later, a settlement was re-established at Three Saints Harbor, a settlement now known as Old Harbor. Inhabited by the Alutiiq people, Old Harbor is perhaps one of the most beautiful towns in all of Alaska. It is perched on the banks of the Sitkalitic Straits with the backdrop of the Konyag Mountains. The people of Old Harbor have close ties to the ocean and land around them and partially live subsistence lifestyles. Many of the residents are commercial fishermen like their ancestors, who not only relied upon the waters to provide whale and seal, but also lived off the land, hunting deer, rabbit, fox, and bear. The town has become a popular place for sports fishing. During the summer, many of the residents, like Mike Tunohun Jr., cater to the tourists who come here from all over the world for some of the best halibut and salmon fishing anywhere.
I'm in the process of removing the skin from the halibut. Usually cut down the middle, right on the line. And okay, this is the process of removing the skin. Okay, and from here, I section them 2 to 5 pound portions.
There was no lack of work in Old Harbor when it came to getting ready for the 4th of July celebration. Wanda Price is the director of the Alutiiq dance group in Old Harbor. She and her students have been busy getting the dance regalia ready for the holiday.
The top part that you see is the headpiece for a traditional Native woman, and these symbols, the more beads you had, the more wealthy you were. And the traditional way, the Alutiiq way, is your eyes are covered. Women were never allowed to look up. You always had to be covered. You always had to look down. And like I said, let's say this headpiece, that would be a chief's wife because of all the design. They'd trade beads. They'd get the birds. Everything would be handmade. Everything would be traditional, made out of seal, sinew, ivory, whale, and the bird's beaks. The regalia that she is wearing right now is a traditional woman's regalia made out of rabbit, fox, weasel, and the same meaning with the headpiece. The more beads, the more ivory, the more decorations you had, the wealthier you were. And the drums we have were made out of seal hide and the bark of the trees, and the strings would be made out of sinew. So everything was all natural. Nothing was wasted.
Not only was this community preparing for the festivities, but they were also preparing for the arrival of an honored guest, the Bishop Nikolai.
Alaska is less inundated with all of the other distractions that we have throughout the rest of the United States. You don't see a lot of movie theaters, and you don't see 7-Elevens and arcades and all of those kind of distractions that are here. And you see in the village here and in Nuz Doyle where the church is the center of the village. Everything that they do is centered around the church. Where would you have that kind of reception midweek anywhere else? We're going in procession down to the pier, and they'll have a service. We'll have a service there to bless the fleet, the fishing fleet. And these services of blessing, boats and that come to us from the Typicon, which is our book of services that we have in the church that are hundreds of years old. So fishing boats have been blessed for centuries in the Orthodox Church because it's been a mainstay. We know that the early apostles themselves were fishermen. And so those vessels by which they were providing their means were blessed, and that's what we're doing today. And the fleet will go by, and I'll bless each one of them as they travel by us, and then we'll be here for the 4th of July, which is our secular holiday. But we'll bless the holiday, the secular part of the holiday, with the blessing of the fleet and the remembering of our departed.
And after the blessing, the boats lined up for the annual boat race, which was more like a boat free-for-all.
Some of the boats are lifting off the water.
Then it was time to go from the straits to the streets, where the Aleutic dancers performed a ceremony welcoming all those to their village while sharing a little bit of their culture.
Bashflies means it's an old traditional story where this chief from a village, back then they said, okay, you're my daughter, you're going to marry this certain person from another village. Well, she was in love with another man. So bashful eyes is, she's hiding her eyes on the beach when the other dad is bringing her new husband to be, because they were chosen for you. You didn't have any choice. And she's hiding her eyes, and that's what bashful eyes is.
It brought out the kid in everyone, and everyone brought out their kids to partake in a variety of events that lasted the whole day. Like the candy toss to sweeten things up, and the quarter toss, which I might add is very popular. Speaking of toss, don't forget the balloon toss. And the egg toss, which cracked a lot of people up.
Oh, we're already too far ahead. Throw it a little higher.
There was also the traditional tug-of-war for the women and the men. And these two who found the dog to be more interesting than the rope. The gunny sack race got the place jumping and built up a lot of appetites, which was a good thing because there was plenty of pies to be eaten at the pie eating contest, which left a funny look on a lot of people's faces. But not as funny as the pudding eating contest, which should have been called the pudding feeding contest. And although they're meant to float, these buoys were bouncing during the buoy race.
Come on, teenagers, come on, from 12 and under. Come on, all you kids get in line here. There's $20, $15, $10, and $5.
Surprising enough, after all these events, the kids still had enough energy for the hill race. The object, race to the flag at the top of the hill and back to the finish line. Kind of reminds you of Jack and Jill, doesn't it? As the day rolled on, things took a turn and a tumble and a right hook. That's right. One of the events was boxing. It didn't matter if you were male or female, 14 or 4. This event was open to all. And in the evening, the entire town gathered to light up the sky with an awesome display of fireworks.
Thank you, everyone, for joining me for Heartbeat Alaska. And remember, join me in Seward, Alaska for the 4th of July parade. Give us a call if you'd like to participate. God bless every one of you. Have a safe weekend. We'll see you again next week.
Gather round for Jeannie's show.